So hello, my name is Clarence Hunt and I'm doing my presentation standing up. Now, I am a second year going into third year HR major student at the University of the West Indies. This is my presentation. Now, before I go ahead, I would like to say this topic has helped me to really grow and understand what our business model and the business model canvas very good. Now, to get into my topic, it is all about business models and business model canvas. Now, what are business models? So, to put it simply, a business model is a simple plan that explains how a company makes money. It describes your product or your service that you are or you want to sell, who are your customers, and how your company will earn a profit. Think of it as a recipe that shows how a business creates value, delivers it to customers, and collect payment in return. Now, the business I will be using is a women's gym brand, clothing brand that I'm trying to create. So I'll be using it as along with other examples within the presentation. So now we skip ahead and go to a video.
This video is produced by DCI Institute. Story based on the book Digital Business Modeling. What is a business model? First of all, a model is an abstract conceptualization of something. In our case, something is any business we can imagine. A business is a transaction between two systems. For example, between two companies or between two persons. The one system offers a service to the other system in exchange for a gratification. This exchange process can be called a transaction. Mike, for example, gives an apple to Molly. And Molly gives Mike money for it. So they exchange apple versus money. It's that simple. The only problem is that Mike has no business as long as he's not able to repeat the transaction constantly. How can Mike repeat the transaction? First, he needs more apples. Therefore, he needs someone who provides him apples in a certain quantity. Second, he needs more mollies. Third, he needs processes which define how he gets and sells the apples. Most business models can be described with these elements. A system that asks for something. We call it principle.
Okay, so we can finish this video right here, but that was a great synopsis. So I have here presenting three business model forms, forms that the business model would come in. So freemium model, this is where your product or service is for free. However, you do have a premium option that your customers can take advantage of. For example, YouTube. I use YouTube and I have YouTube Premium simply because it has some very good features. For example, YouTube Premium, I can download videos off YouTube or play my music offline, which I find very useful. So you have marketplace or platform model, and you also have subscription model. These are subscription model now is where your company or your product or your service customers have to either pay a weekly, monthly, yearly subscription to use your services or your products. So elements of a business model. So value proposition. The promise a company makes to fulfill customer needs. It answers what problem are you solving for customers and why would they choose you over the competitors? What's so interesting about your company? Processes. The habitual ways people work together to create value repeatedly and effectively. These can be documented procedures like trading or budgeting or unspoken cultural practices. Resources. Now, as a person that is a human resource major, one of the most important resources to me in an organization is the people, the employees. Because no matter what you do need people in your organization. So how are you going to train these people and take care of these people to make your business run smoothly? So the assets needed to deliver the value proposition. These include people, as I said, technology, products, facilities, equipment, and even cash. Finally, elements of business model. The final one, profit formula. How the company covers costs and maintains profitability over time. This includes the revenue model, so this is quantity time price, cost structure, direct costs, indirect costs, and overheads, margin model, so the profit you make per unit or one of your product or service, or resource volatility, so how quickly money or cash get in and out of your business, the cash flow. So why business models matter to strategy or HR? So HR decision, for example, when you understand, as an HR person in a business, when you understand your business model, this can aid you in the hiring process, the training process, and even how you develop your workforce. Because doing that, understanding your business model, and doing training, hiring your people, and so that can help your business very much, because this can be the determining factor whether your business makes a profit, develops, or even if your company just want to sustain where they are. This is very important to HR personnel. Strategic changes fail when they conflict with existing business model capabilities. For example, introducing new priorities that threaten current profit formulas. Innovation often requires building a new business model with different resources, processes, and priorities, not just tweaking the old one. Now we move on to the business model canvas. Now, what is a business model canvas? It is a strategic management tool that provides a visual framework for describing, designing, analyzing, and developing a business model. It summarizes how an organization creates, delivers, and captures value through 9 building blocks. So 9 of them. So that includes customers, value proposition, resources, activities, partnerships, costs, and your revenue streams. Now, who uses it though? Entrepreneurs and startup founders, HR leaders, and university and educators. So now we move on to a little video here.
This is the Business Model Canvas. It's just what Beth and Carl will need to craft a powerful business model, and it can do the same for you. Let's dive in and see how it works. There are 9 essential building blocks that make up any business model. When you get all 9 blocks working together, you'll have answered the fundamental questions any business model must solve. We'll start here with customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. Channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the types of relationships you're establishing with your customers and how you're acquiring and retaining them. Pricing mechanisms through which your business model captures value are documented under revenue streams. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model, so you can describe the infrastructure you need to create, deliver, and capture value. The key activities show which things you need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model, since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. And once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. Any business model can be mapped this way: 9 building blocks working to reinforce and strengthen each other. But before you make a model for yourself, it helps to see what a breakthrough business model looks like in action. Like this one. Low-cost airlines revolutionized air travel thanks to their disruptive business model. Let's first look at their value proposition. A low-cost airline offers ultra-cheap flights to their main customer segment, budget travelers, by adopting a no-frills policy. And this leads to additional revenue streams, because customers pay for their ticket and additional fees on items like food and drink, priority boarding, and luggage. The airlines save even more money through their choice of channels, selling only through call centers and the internet, making for efficient, if not always convenient, customer relationships that are automated and often impersonal. Okay, that covers the right side of the canvas, the part everyone can see. The left side of the canvas is what's going on backstage. Like their choice of key resources, they reduce maintenance and training costs by using a single aircraft model for the whole fleet. And they only fly to cheap airports where it's cost efficient to land or where they even get paid to touch down. Planes that do land have quick turnarounds, so they get back in the air earning money as quickly as possible. And they form key partnerships with others in the travel industry, like car rental, hotel, and insurance companies. Finally, under cost structures, all maintenance, training, airport, and call center costs are trimmed to their lowest levels. All of these pieces working together make their fares almost impossible for traditional airlines to compete with. There's nothing superior about these airlines except their business models. They're reaching an entirely new segment of travellers out of reach for traditional airlines. Cutting out costs is pretty exciting, right? But wait! Just because it's successful for discount airlines doesn't mean it will work for your idea. Luckily, the business model canvas allows you to iterate many models and test them quickly.
Okay, so I found that video and I thought it was a very good video as well. So now we move on to an example. This is an example of how the business model canvas would look like. So the 9 building blocks of a business model canvas, we're going to go through them by segments. So firstly, customer segment. Who are we creating value for? Definition: all the people or organizations for which your organization or business creates value for. This includes both simple users and paying customers. Key questions: who are you solving a problem for? Who are the people that will need my solution? What customer problems are we solving? What it covers: different groups of customers. So mass market, so a large market. Niche market, for example, my company that I want to create, I would describe it as a niche market because it's a specific market, gym clothing for females. And you have segmented and diversified. You also have customer demographics. So this can include the age, income, generation, location, and even the profession of the customers you want to attract to your business. And finally, customer needs and behaviors. 2. Value proposition. What problems are you solving? Definition: the bundles of products and services that create value for each specific customer segment. Key questions: what value do we deliver to our customers? 2. Which customer problem are we solving? 3. What products or services are we offering? Now we move on to what does it cover though? Products and service offered. 2. Value created, so performance, convenience, price, and status. 3. Value customers choose. Why would customers choose you over the competitors? Now the type of values. Newness, performance, customization, price, cost reduction, risk reduction, and accessibility, or even convenience. Or how convenient is it for customers to get your product or your service? Now we'll move on to the channels or the distribution channels. So how do customers get your product? So definition: the touch points through which you interact with customers and deliver value. Now, key questions: which channels do your customers want to be reached? 2. Which channels will you use to reach your customers? And where do we get your information? Where do they get their information from about you? So for example, for my company, if I want to ship island-wide, I would use the Knoxford Express, which I can pay $700 or $1,000 to get it to Kingston, to Wochi, to Westmoreland, and I live in St. Mary, which is very cost effective seeing the gas prices today. You know, what does it cover? Ways to reach customers and deliver value proposition. Own channels, for example. No, other than that, own channels, your website, in-house sales, and social media. Partner channels like your retailers, your wholesale, or your PR team, and direct versus indirect channels. Now 4. Customer relationships. how do you interact with your customers? Definition, the type of relationship you establish with your customers through your journey with your company. Key questions, what type of relationship do you want? Does each customer segment expect? 2, how does our business interact with its customers? 3, how expensive is it to maintain this relationship? What it covers, how you communicate, support, and retain customers, personal versus automated interaction, and customer service levels. Finally, types of relations, personal assistance, self-service, automated service, communities, co-creation. Now, for my business, I would like for a personal assistant where I would be, and also community as well, where I would be serving them, be interacting with them personally on a personal level, and community, build a community where not only customers would only feel comfortable with speaking with me, but also other person that are customers and potentially my employees, they feel comfortable that kind of family feeling. Key activities. Definition, the actions your business undertakes to achieve the value proposition for our customers. Key questions though, what activities are essential to deliver our value proposition? What key activities do your business or product undertake? And finally, what must you perform well to make your business model work? So what is most important? What it covers, most important actions to create and deliver value, things you really need to perform well, and daily operations and strategic activities. Types of activities, production, designing and making and delivering products, problem solving, finding solutions for customers, and 3, platform network, building and maintaining your platform or your online presence, because that's very important. Key resources. Definition, the assets that are indispensable to your business model, the resources your business requires to do business. Key questions, what resources do we need to carry out our key activities? 2, what resources your business requires to do business? 3, what assets are indispensable in your business model? So what your business really need, what are resources your business really need? For me, I need, for one, for my business model that I want, I need vendors, I need people to create my clothes, my ideas, to bring them to life. I can create them and draw them, but I need vendors to make it because I can't make it myself. Types of resources, some physical, buildings, vehicles, machines, stores, intellectual, brands, patents, copyrights, data, and customer databases, human, people, employees, and the talent of these people. Financial, cash, credit lines, and your cash reserves. So now, key partners. Who helps you succeed? Other external companies, suppliers, or parties you may need to achieve your key activities and deliver value to customers. Key questions. Who are our key partners or suppliers? Who can help you leverage your business model? Which key activities do partners perform? And why do you need these partners? What it covers, network of suppliers and partners that make your business model work. 2, who you won't own resources yourself or won't perform all activities. Strategic alliances, competition, joint ventures, buyer-supplier relationship. Types of partnership, strategic alliance, non-competitions, competitors working together, competition, competitors partnering, joint ventures, creating new company together, and buyer-supplier, traditional supplier relationships. 8th one is cost structure. So what do you spend money on? Definition, the monetary cost of operating as a business, all costs incurred to operate the business model. So key questions, what are the monetary costs in operating the business? What are the most important costs in our business model? Which resources are the most expensive and which activities are the most expensive? So for my business model, the most expensive thing is to get a vendor to create my brand clothes in bulks, because you have some where from China. China might have a different price. Vietnam probably have a different price. Portugal probably have a different price. And it's not only the cost to create the clothes, but also the cost to have the clothes shipped to Jamaica. So we also have that fee as well. And also when it reaches to Jamaica again, we have another fee to pay. You know, even for example, for my business, one of the most expensive things that, other than getting the clothes to Jamaica and getting them made, is probably to run ads on Instagram and TikTok or even on Facebook. So you know, those are some of the expenses, are the most expensive expenses that a business model like mine would see. What it covers: all expenses to run the business, direct costs, indirect costs, and overheads, fixed costs, and variable costs. Types of costs: fixed costs are your rent, salaries; variable costs, ingredients or packaging for my business; direct costs tied to product; indirect costs not directly tied; and overhead, general expenses like your rent or utilities. Finally, we have the revenue stream. Now, revenue streams are the various sources from which a business earns money from the sale of goods or the provision of services. So how your company bring in cash? How your company bring in the money? The money we are talking about, how your company bring in the money. So, key questions. For what volumes are customers willing to pay? 2, how do they currently pay? And 3, what is the price for each revenue stream? What it covers: each cash generated from each customer segment, pricing mechanisms and revenue models, and how money flows into the business. Types of revenue stream: asset sale, selling ownership of a product one time, example car, retail products, or electronics. Usage fee, pay based on how much you use, for example a self-roll plan, for example floor, always I take credit. Subscription fee, pay regular for continuous access, like for example your Netflix subscription. If you don't pay for your Netflix, you can use your Netflix to watch your videos, your gym membership, or even Microsoft 365. I have an account that I don't even remember the password, and every month it taking about $800 Jamaican from my bank account. So this was my presentation, and I hope you learned a lot. Thank you. I know I learned a lot, and thank you for experiencing this with me. My name is Clarence Hunt, and this was my presentation. Thank you very much.